There's where I sing into the gorgeous view outside.
Oh, cool.
See that water?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So, is that Lake Ontario we're looking at?
Yeah, my M&M's collection.
Oh, I never knew. I never would have guessed you were an M&M's collector.
Yeah, man, a massive collector. Baby.
Oh, cute. Now, I've seen this kitty in pictures on your Facebook.
She's got a little M on her forehead. Right now, show your M.
Is that for Marshall or M&M's?
I don't know. She's born with it. I'm pretty sure it's M&M's.
That is cute. And what's her name?
Nala.
So in Nashville, tell me about that experience. Obviously, you went there to do some writing. What was it like down there, and what did you do, and maybe who did you work with?
I went down. I had a lot of emotional stresses were going on in my head as I was preparing to go to Nashville. And as a songwriter, I mean, there's many times when you just write songs, before you get into the business of writing songs, when you just write songs for yourself, you write them when you're emotional. You know, you write them when you're feeling. A lot of times when you hurt, that's when you sit down and you write a song. And so my first day in Nashville, my first writing session, I was so overwhelmed with all these emotions. And the guy I was writing with is such a big-hearted Jason Matthews. He's such a big-hearted, passionate, speaks right from the guts of the heart kind of guy. I mean, I've never seen him play a fast song. It's always these little bit slower, heart-wrenching tunes. He wrote Get to Where I'm Going on my album. And so I sat in with him, and it was just an emotional floodfest. And at the end of that session, I had to say to myself, that's it. All the emotional stuff, you know, like, take, and you got to find a different way to channel it. And so for the next, for every session after that, it was all about up-tempo, make girls smile kind of songs. And this trip, I nailed at least, I mean, I came home with 8 new written songs. 8, yeah, I think 9 new written. And there is at least 3 on there that I'm overjoyed about. Like, I mean, I like them all, but, you know, I'm looking for smash songs that really are going to be a signature for me. And so I was excited. I wrote with a girl named Rebecca Lynn Howard. And I don't know if you ever heard of Rebecca Lynn, but Rebecca
No, but
Lynn,
I like her first name. It works for me.
You know? R-E-B-E-C-C-A. Yeah, my oldest sister's name is Rebecca.
Nice.
I love that name, too. It's beautiful. Very biblical name. Rebecca Lynn, I mean, I walked into that session an hour and a half before they were expecting me. So I was told to be there at 10:30. She thought I was supposed to be there at noon. She shows up with her eyes. She's like, is somebody knocking at my door? And she's squinting her eyes, and she's got her jogging pants, and her little puppy's not even awake yet. I mean, he's not even answering the door. And she, you know, she says, can you come back in an hour and a half? And so I came back in, and I mean, this is my first time meeting this girl. And so you're still sizing each other up. Every new session, every new artist you're writing with.
Yeah.
And within minutes, within seconds, you feel a vibe. And I love writing with women like Caroline Dawn Johnson. I've written with her before because the female perspective is so different than the male perspective.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know, even on simple things where, you know, there's 2 guys like 2 guys plus Rebecca in the room, and, you know, we'll say, hey, is this, you know, I want to write a nice line, you know, when you're talking to a girl at a bar, and you know, this is what I'd say. She goes, girls don't want to hear that. I'm like, what? Isn't that how you say it? She goes, not like that. It would be much better if you said it more like this. And we're like, oh, yeah, that sounds great.
And that's how you can get a home run in a song with a, you know, that appeals to women, even though you're a male, because you've got somebody like Rebecca in there working on it with you.
Such a strong perspective. Yeah. And, I mean, obviously, not only just an accomplished writer, and then she's got this gorgeous voice. And she starts singing, and the opening line is, pardon me, but I've never seen a girl more beautiful.
Nice.
And having her in the room just made it right. Yeah.
So will a duet come out of that with Rebecca? I mean, is that the kind of stuff that happens from these sessions? I mean, what happens next from all the stuff you brought back with you from Nashville?
Well, we actually ended up recording a little version of it while we were there, just basic acoustic guitars and vocals, and she did do the harmony vocals, and I mean, the harmony vocals come in basically at the pre-chorus and the chorus, and it sounds awesome with her voice. So, I mean, I can hear a duet out of it. I think I might have made a little gesture towards that.
So how much control does the artist have over those things, Marshall? I mean, can you sit in a room with other artists and just say, hey, we should do a duet. Yeah, let's do it. Or are there sometimes managers who are jumping in and saying, no, 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 for whatever reason this can't happen? I mean, are you as the artist able to make those decisions on your own?
In that regard, I'm very fortunate that having waited and waited and waited patiently for the right kind of team to be built around me, I've ended up here with a team that, you know, it looks like we're going to end up working together, that is saying what every artist always wants to be told. You have the creative control. You know, most artists are afraid of somebody coming along and saying, manager says, no, you can't do that, and you can't do this, and that's not going to work. But in my case, it's they've actually handed me that baton and said, hey, you do what you do.
Yeah. So how did you find them, or how did they find you? Had you been searching around for the right people, or did you just kind of stumble upon these guys while you were out maybe singing in one of these, hey, you're Marshall and we want you with us? One of those great...
I wish it was kind of like that. I'm going for a walk. I've just been home for one day. I was going for a walk in the park just outside my apartment here. And a guy in a black SUV pulls up, turns around, rolls down his window and says, Marshall Dane? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I'm not stalking you. My mom actually lives in this building. I'm like, that's my building. And he goes, I saw you maybe about 2 months ago. He says you were playing at the Rockin' Docks up here in my hometown here. And so he gets out of his car. This is a long story, not really. He says, do you have a business card on you or something? I'm like, dude, I'm going for a walk in the park. I have nothing on me except for a pile of business cards. I don't leave home without them. It's all about the business.
Perfect.
So I hand him my card, and he goes, listen, he says, I caught you at the show. I saw a song and a half, he said, and my best friend manages the Cranberries. And we were in there, and he wants to talk to you. I mean, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was giving it everything I had. I've been playing at that bar a long time, and I always try and tell other younger artists, I'm like, you can't go to a show and not remember that there could be that person in the audience. So you have to give it every time. And it's not easy. 3 hours a night, 5, 6 nights a week, years and years and years later. But that's the job you have to do if you want to take advantage of the opportunity when it, you know, shows itself.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I had no idea they were in the room. And I was giving it like it was the last day on earth. And they said, we've been following you online for the last 6 weeks while you were out of town, and we were looking to get a hold of you. And it basically came down to, they liked the work ethic, and they liked that I was kind of doing it on my own. And I said I basically have a staff of like 8,000 friends that don't get paid that help me do it. But that's kind of the long version of how they ended up finding me and me finding them. I mean, if I went and knocked on their door in New York, they wouldn't give me the time of day.
So you do have an exciting discovery story. You said, oh, I wish it was as exciting as that. That is exciting, though.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, like I'm excited for you.
And that's just September. What are we in now?
Well, tell me about when we're talking about the stuff that you wrote in Nashville and now this new management deal on the horizon. And I have my personally autographed Running Stop Signs CD here that I love. And I'm just wondering if there's going to be then another album that's going to come out of all this work you've been doing and all this great stuff that's happening.
I think the way it looks right, I mean, in our last discussions, it was we should have an album ready by June and then have a release ready for about September. Again, it's a lot of work, a lot of stuff going on, and the summer is so busy with festivals and stuff. We have to have it all. Like, it has to be done during the spring.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing and hearing more from you, Marshall, for sure. And I thank you so much for your time, and thank your cats for letting me take you away from them for a little while. They've probably missed you, your attention.
Yeah, Simon.
Oh, hi, Simon.
I'm surprised he's not up here sitting with me right now.
Oh gosh, that's funny. You have to put your cats in one of your videos someday.
I'm sure they'll make it in there. My name is Marshall Dane. Marshall Dane. Marshall Dane. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Come on, Sally.
I'm a country singer-songwriter from St. Catharines.
I'm talking to you.
I didn't play an instrument until I was 12. My dad said, you want to learn how to play guitar, son? I'll teach you 3 chords, and with these 3 chords, you'll be able to play 500 songs. I got my first gig at 15 years old in a little cafe. I knew 13 of those 500 songs at that time.
I had a dream that this storm was coming.
I just released an album. It's called Running Stop Signs. This record is packed with some of my favorite tunes. Love and Alcohol.
It ain't my fault. Blame it on love and alcohol. alcohol.
About last night.
About last night, girl, I could pretend.
Oh yeah, and bad choices.
But I'm whom I want, who's the big man now. I'm not a bad guy, I just make some bad choices.
Because of this record, I've gone on tour and played with Alan Jackson, Gord Bamford, Aaron Pritchett. I've written songs with Paul Brandt.
Been getting by, making ends meet.
I'm a pretty serious guy. Love and alcohol. Can't touch that stuff at all. Except for when I'm not being so serious.
On my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. Right.
The North Canadian Arctic. My once-in-a-lifetime opportunity I've had 4 times. It is God and Mother Nature doing a dance and nobody there to cut in. I went on my first tour here in 2011 to the East Coast of Canada. I played with a 40-piece orchestra not too long ago. What does it take to be an indie musician, a successful indie musician? You got to be prepared to work 24 hours a day. You've got to look after it all. You got to make sure you have your briefcase with you and your instrument at all times.
But the devil, man, he dances. When I've had 1 or 2, I got 2.
Yep, I got me some nice new songs I'm already working on.
Best of me.
And hopefully next year I'll be going out on tour with, I wonder what Eric Church is doing.
Oh well, that's the dynamics of the music business.